Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is your Monday Night Plastic Crack Podcast, Season 6, Episode 19. And we're coming to you from a rather moist and warm UK tonight. Is it even hot up there in the north?
At the minute, now brace yourselves, it's currently 26 degrees. Oh, yeah, 26 degrees.
Wow.
That's illegal up here.
You're not allowed to work in those kind of environments. What are you doing in? Have you talked to HR?
No. It's really nice. I'm actually enjoying it. It's really, really nice.
Was Martin frozen, or was he? I think he might have frozen.
Yeah, I think he might have done.
He's been having problems tonight with his camera and his internet and all sorts. So he's going to be in a really happy mood when he comes finally.
No, he's not.
Anyway, welcome everybody tonight. Really good to be back. I obviously wasn't around last week. I sent my able replacement in the shape of Ken. Frankly, I listened back to the stream today. And I'm not entirely sure I understood a word of what he was talking about, really. It was stuff about 40k and bolts, something around. I don't know. You know.
I think Alex was the same. I think he left a comment saying, I don't understand a word of this.
I mean, it seemed like he was making, I mean, bless him. It's great. It was genuinely good to see him back on. But also, it was like, I think he sort of was trying to make up for the last however many months he hasn't been on by talking last week. Jeez. Anyway, so I would like to point out that yes, I am always on holiday. It's my sole aim in life, and yes, I visit as many castles as I possibly can because why not?
No, why not?
If Ken was on, I'd tell him that the reason why they're expensive is to keep the bloody riffraff out like him.
Yeah, he was traumatized last week.
He was traumatized by
some of those prices.
Hello, Martin.
Hello.
Right.
That was fine. Then you click go live, and then it just booted me off.
Well, you
just
were
have to
frozen
say,
in sort of, I don't know what sort of pose you're in, but you were definitely frozen. We could see you.
It was. Oh God, I don't know. I'm going to blame the heat. It's going to.
Yeah, we're just talking about the heat.
Yeah,
it's not very nice. Don't like it.
And I also have to point out to you, Martin, that I am not interested in the Age of Sigmar, whatever you might try and pretend from last week. I watched that back today.
Did I say that? Did I say?
Yeah,
that?
you said.
I just used it as a springboard.
Slightly interested.
Well, you were interested in the concept of the way that the army, the collection was working.
Yeah. Okay.
You were interested in the concept.
You're digging yourself out of it slowly but surely. All right, mate. I'll let you. But I did like the reference to the what did you describe me? I've written it down here. The venerable one who's wheeled out. I thought that was
Who said that?
There you go. That's me. I'm the venerable one who's wheeled out.
Who said that?
Who said that?
I think a couple of you did actually, but there you go. Thanks AI for that one. I
think someone compared you to a 40k dreadnought.
Something like that, yes.
Which is sort of
anyway. There you go. Just to prove I did actually listen to it today.
I think we've lost. I think we've got a man down.
Has he gone again?
Yeah, I think he's gone again.
You can't say I didn't. He's back. There he is. He's back. I think Martin, your interwobble must be burning out or something. God. Oh dear.
No.
What? You just froze again, mate.
Oh.
Oh,
I could hear you. I could hear there was a picture on the screen, so I could hear you. I didn't know they got rid of it.
Bizarre.
Oh, I don't know. Hopefully it'll settle.
I think I've got a special button next to the Go Live feature. Yes, that's true. Kick Martin is the one next to it. One. Yeah. Anyway, welcome everybody to Monday night. It's good to be back, and it's good to catch up with all you in the chat. So please get involved in tonight's discussion, which is going to be talking about storage of your hobby goodies and transportation tips, etc. which I have to say was probably one of the most contentious posts I've ever posted up on the Facebook page, judging by some of the comments there today. I've never had to freeze.
Yeah, well done.
There, so
Well done.
Anyway, some stupidness going on. Anyway, so we're going to talk about that tonight. We'll get round to that later in the show, but also a reminder that thanks to everybody who is watching live, and of course, and also to those who are doing it on the catch-up. Really appreciate that, as always. Also a reminder that we are sponsored by the good folks over at Boards and Swords, and if you use the code PCP5, you get an additional 5% off all your hobby goodness from up there in glorious Derby. How are we doing, gentlemen? I can see Martin. Oh, he's actually moving. I can see the brush moving.
No,
So
I am moving. Sorry, I'm paint. I'm here this
How are we
time.
doing, gents? You okay?
Yeah.
Warm?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. I have to say, it has
What about
been.
you?
I've had a massive barney with somebody at work, and then I had a massive, well, not a massive barney, but I had a barney with somebody here. So it's been very successful so far. I must admit.
Great
I've let it
start
all
to the
out.
week.
It's been a good Monday so far. So there you go. So let's have a look at who we got in the chat. We got Dave Baker is in. He says, "Good evening from a sunny Gloucestershire tonight, painting the last 3 Warlord Landsknecks of 60 for a friend.
Ooh.
I don't want to see another Landsknecht for a while."
They have a shelf life. You can't just sit down and just paint in perpetuity. No. I can paint sort of 8 to 10, and then I've got to go and lie down in a dark room for a bit.
A dark room, yeah, it has to be dark because of all the
Yeah.
brightness of them. I'm the other way around. I actually quite enjoy doing it. Just the sheer variety of colours. But then, have you noticed how when you do randomised colours, they all seem to end up together? I don't know how that works. There must be something in the human brain. I'm sort of psychological. Maybe it's just my brain. But when I try and do, blue, red, and I try and randomise, and then I stick them all in the bases and use super glue, and then realise I've stuck all the blue ones together. I don't know.
Yeah, we chatted about this before, didn't we? And then someone pointed out, but to be truly random, that would happen. Otherwise, forcing it.
It's true. They did.
And then we got into a whole existential crisis about it. So
That describes my
Monday night, really.
Existential crisis. Why? That's why I started it in the first place.
Nick Dawson, I don't know whether we need to send some kind of intervention to Nick, because he says, "Morning all, flocking in the War Games shed tonight. You can't beat a good flock." There you go.
Flocking out.
Well done. Well done, Nick. Carl is doing some Sumerians, 15mm Sumerians, which is great. Hobby Brush is in the house. Hello, good night. Good evening to you. I don't mean to get rid of your Hobby Brush, honestly. It's just the way it is. Alex is here. Hello, mate. Good to see you too. I hope you're getting on well with your 3D printer. You are a brave man. I don't know. He keeps buying stuff when his better half is not paying attention. They keep arriving. Pat's here. He says, "Very hot. More ancient Greeks tonight." Good for you.
Cool.
Bill, good evening, mate. He says, "Good afternoon from a too hot and humid Florida." Kind of feels a bit like here at the moment, doesn't it? It's just a bit. Maybe not quite as good as Florida. Red Steph's here. Hello, mate. Steve Harbour. Yeah, we just saw he's here. So good. Nick Games is here. Hi, Nick. Mark is here. Oh, he says, "Sadly, got to head out for work here in San Antonio heat." Okay. See you, mate. See you later. Shakers and Sprues. Hello, mate. How you doing? Adam is here. Hello, mate. Good to see you. So I'm also trying to tag some of the questions or some of the comments around the storage and basing that are coming in, because there's lots of them in the chat already. Andrew Oates is here. Hello, all from a cool and lovely west coast of Canada.
Oh.
I don't know what exactly I'll be working on tonight. Maybe terrain. There's lots. It's nice and cool in Canada. That's where we need to head. Carazette is here. Hello, mate. Trevor's here. East Norfolk's Lionheart. Lazy Pirate Painting. Mike Schubert. It's wet and chilly in Western Cape, South Africa.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, there you go. We've got it hot here. Richard Hawes from a balmy Hull. Is that just the place, or is it warm? Really? David Benton, hello. Louis Baby, Mark Riding, hello. Neil Woods, hello, mate. Good evening to you. Alex Stormer-Steele is here. Back to World War II tonight with various logistics. Good, mate. Very good. Andrew, hello. Mortstick is here. Wargamer of Kent. Friends of General Haig. Glenn, hello. Good evening. Tom, Old School FRP. Nathan, Ed, I think it's about to jump. Oh, it's doing that thing at the moment. Dutch Army Painter. Oh, we've lost Martin again. Double tactical exercise with toys. Oh, good evening.
Hey.
That's a great name. Real Steve's here. Right, we can start.
Hey, we can start.
Robin's here. Camberwell Johnny. Some cracking names. David Kerr. Good evening. Andy Stocker is here. Good evening to you as well. I think we are pretty much at the bottom. I'm trying not to repeat too many people because it gets annoying to have all these names, but I really appreciate everyone here. So if I missed you, sorry. I'm trying to see whether Paul's got his. I haven't seen Paul yet. See whether he's done his weather forecast. I always look with bated breath.
Oh yeah.
That one. But I haven't seen him yet. Maybe he's. Yeah. All right. Never mind. He's not there at the moment. So it looks like it's just you and me at the moment, Steve. Which is fine. Absolutely fine. So what have you been up to, Steve? How's it? What have you been diddling with? Anything painting wise?
Yeah, I finished my Fallschirmjäger.
I saw a video went up. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different one. I'm not in it. It's just more of it's just figures on a turntable. No, it's something I've been working on for about a month. I'd completely reorganized the Fallschirmjäger, gave him some brand new camouflage. So I finished. The last thing I finished was this medium mortar team. With a fully kit bashed crew and camouflage and some better basing. Ooh. And then I finished the whole lot. There we go.
Very nice.
Tell you what, you don't get much for 1,500 points in
it's all your veterans, isn't it?
They're all veteran, all stubborn. But I'm so chuffed. It just looks how I wanted it to look.
That's very satisfying when you've just got it in your head what it's going to look like, and then it finally looks that way or anywhere near to that. It's brilliant.
I don't know how much weathering pigments I use on these bases. Honestly, it was absolutely everywhere. I was covered in it. But it's really good for urban bases, for like brick dust and stuff like that. It was really glad to have finished it, because I'm going to hopefully be using it in the next couple of weeks because I make some Rangers. But what I started doing as well, that German veterans box. Yeah. I want to see if we could use that to do some kit bashing, because I want to do it a second platoon, like a pioneer platoon with flamethrowers, because I love flamethrowers in bolt action. So I kit bash these. Hey, look at that!
Now we remember what you did with a flamethrower before. What is that flamethrower from? That's from the
Yeah, no, it's actually from the veterans box. The German veteran box by Warlord that came out earlier this year. It comes with a bunch of equipment. There's flamethrowers, anti-tank rifles, machine guns. There's loads. And so I thought, well, I went into the stash, and I'm sorely lacking in Fallschirmjäger parts. I don't know what I can only be relied to find anything in the stash. So I kit bashed that out of just straight out that kit, and it worked. The main thing is it didn't no modeling putty, no filler. It just fit together perfectly. And again, I always go on about the versatility of the plastic kits by Warlord, how they go together. They did, and I was so made up. So that's 1,500 points completed. It's about 1,516 points, just over. We're not too precious on points. So my mate's just finished his Rangers platoon. So hopefully we're going to be cracking out the new scenery, the new wargaming mat. I'm playing some 3rd edition bolt action soon. But then I something completely out the ordinary for me. What I'm doing now. Oh, God. So last week we were talking about Age of Sigmar Spearhead, in that you get the. Thanks, Rob. You get the army in a box. That's it. You get your army, and that's it. You don't add anything to it. So I had a bit of a mad moment at the weekend. and I picked up that, which is the Spearhead Maggot Kin of Nurgle. Or as
I
Paul,
knew exactly what it was.
as Paul Richardson described it, a big box of snot. So the past couple of days, I've been painting these plague bearers, and I'm not joking. It's been a long time since I've had this much fun painting. Say what you like about Games Workshop, their figures are phenomenal. They're just brilliant. I don't care what anyone says. The plastics are lovely, and in the box you get these two giant, great big bloated flies, being ridden by big, horrible, bad bastards with scythes and swords, and it's just going to be brilliant. I mean, literally, the box only has 18 figures in it. 18 figures, that's it. So I might have to buy another one. A box of turnips. Yeah, essentially, it's a box of turnips. But yeah, it was just a sort of a last minute thing. I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy it. So yeah, I delivered over the weekend. I've been working on it since, and he's back.
That wasn't me this time.
My last try. No, I just went and beat the shit out of the box, and then sacrificed a small goat.
Older is frozen again. It didn't work, mate. Yeah, I can hear. We can hear you, but you're not. Your pictures kind of looked you're poised in a position of real earnesty.
Oh, you're like someone's just beating the crap out of him. Oh, he's back. He's back.
Oh no, he's not. Oh dear.
He just looks. He's in deep contemplation there.
He does, doesn't he? He looks really serious. Yeah. Oh, now there's a bit of movement. Oh dear. I think your router's knackered as well as your camera, mate.
Oh no, he's gone.
He's gone again.
So
we may be joined by Martin tonight. We don't know.
We might be. So that's what I've and again, it's something completely different. Last minute. Trade him in for cash. So James put,
that's amazing.
Do you have to wear a plague mask? Actually, I've actually got a plague mask, and it's hanging off my the mirror in my hallway. And whenever I have visitors like workmen or something, I always get kind of strange looks because it's probably not very normal to have a plague mask hanging up in your hallway.
Not really. No.
But no, I've enjoyed these, and like I said, really short working week this week. So I've got 5 days of hobbying goodness, and yeah, I'm even off to a gaming show this weekend.
Blimey!
I know I am.
There's
I am
people there, you know, Steve.
I know. I've had my shots. I'll be fine. No, me and my mate Ian were off to Phalanx in St Helens by the St Helens Spartans War Games Club. So
nice.
I'm really confident. I've never been. It's literally 20 minutes up the road. It's so close. Yeah. It's not. You know, I've never been to it. So I'm looking forward to it. So painting Games Workshop stuff, mingling with human beings.
I was about to ask you whether you you were back on the World War II bandwagon, but clearly you're not.
Well, saying that, I dug up my Stalingrad Germans at the weekend to try and reorganize those, and I don't have to do anything except repaint 2 figures. That's it, done and dusted. Nice. So I'm on a reorganization roll.
Oh, good. Will that be your first version 3?
Yeah, I've not played it yet. I don't know. Just to start the year, I was really enthusiastic, and other things took over, and I was painting a lot of weird stuff. And but no, I'm actually looking forward to it because my mate's been plugging away at his Rangers for a while, so he's finished those recently. So it's going to be a good game. I'm really looking forward to it because, like I said, since the last time we played Blood Tax, I've added a lot of new scenery. So I'm really looking forward to it. Should be good.
Should be a cracker.
Oh, wait. He's in the chat. He's going to try and coerce it into working.
What's he doing? Oh, one last try. Okay. Right. Yeah. But you can kick him this time, Steve.
Okay. I'll wield the ban hammer. So did you get anything done before you went off to Cornwall?
I got nothing. Well, the only thing I got done, I think I showed in a separate video. So I kind of, not really much to be talked about particularly. I am working my way through these. I know we talked about them last time, but are these amazing 3D printed buildings from Parabellum Miniatures, I think now. And I've just about painted up. They weren't supposed to be something I was going to do. I just got them because they were doing a really good deal after Salute, and I thought, right, I'm going to get them because they're just so good. And they arrived, and they're so good. I've just been can't stop myself painting them, so they're sort of nudging their way ahead of everything else in the paint queue. I've just got the gatehouse left, which is it's supposed to be. It's not Brie, but it's sort of that kind of feel to it. Lord of the Rings, or you wouldn't know because you don't watch that, but you know what I mean.
No, it's got
way over your top. I mean, it makes a
way
change
over
that something and it goes over the top in this chat, but there you go. So yeah, it's not Lord of the Rings at all, but it looks very similar to it, and it's amazing looking model. So I've just been trying to work out what to do with it because I also know paint it and all that kind of malarkey. But the thing is, I don't really, yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't really play much skirmish game. I don't play that many skirmish games where I need to sort of take it apart, but because it comes in sections. So okay, there's a thought for the chat.
Right, yeah.
So it comes in 3 sections, so you can put figures in it, which is great if you're playing a skirmish game. It's got doors and stairs and all that kind of stuff, and there's a fair bit of detail on the inside of these, which is great. But since I don't often play it, I was thinking I was going to stick. It just seems sacrilege to stick them down. But if I don't really know whether to make them into. Normally, with a bit of tricks, I'm not talking sense, but normally in a sort of terrain piece like this, I would build a sort of little bit of, or get some cardboard or hardboard or something and mount it on that. But if I do that with this, I'll obviously have to do both gates, each side of them, onto one, and then they've got a bit of walling around the other, and so the thing's going to be pretty damn big.
It's going to grow exponentially, essentially.
And I'm just thinking, is that really going to be necessary? But if I don't, I feel I haven't given it justice to the, so that's what I'm struggling with a bit.
Leave the roof loose. Still have figures inside, but I don't bother with painting each floor. Yeah, that's probably the best way to go, actually.
I think that's a very good thing. And actually, thank you, Robin. It fulfills what I was thinking, because I think, again, without going into too much complication, but the way the gates work on this, the rod that holds them in place so that they're allowed, so they can swing open and closed, actually connects with the second story. So if you want to lift the second story off, you actually have to take the whole gate away as well, which is a bit tedious. So anyway, maybe that's what I'll do. I think that maybe that's the best thing to do, and then I'll mount them on a separate base. So that's what I've been looking at, and I was going to have a go on tonight, and just because it is simple to do. I've just been using a sort of, I've obviously undercoated them black, and then I just sort of drag brush with a light grey, and then an even lighter grey off over the top, and then give it a wash, and then another lighter sort of almost off-white colour, and then pick out all the wood and features on it, and it's dead simple to do, and it works. Oh, hello, he's back. Look.
Is he?
Or is he?
I don't know.
He either looks really grumpy or he's frozen again.
He's so angry, he's just frozen in time.
Yeah, I think he's just cataclysmic with anger.
No, I don't think he's gone.
I think he's gone again. Didn't this happen last time where he had a hot spell that his router exploded? Must be something about up where he lives. I think that was his other house, so it can't be that one.
I don't know. No. It's a mystery. I mean, I would just blame the weather. I blame the weather for everything. When you're away, Dom? Did you get any reading done? I know you always take a fair few books with you.
I did. I tried to. He's given up. He's given up. All right, mate. Gonna have a nice quiet evening. So I took away the Baron Wars new rule book. Have a read through to see what that's all about. I need to watch Martin's new video on it because that looks good, and I want to probably have a play with the game at club. But it looks kind of fun. But I did also take that new Italian Wars Hallian Press.
Oh yeah,
book. because the new supplement, there'll be in the news later, but the new supplement's due out, I think next month. I think it's coming out from Warlords for Pike and Shot. And so I wanted to read about that. And it's, when you sort of know bits and bobs from a period, but you don't really think, especially when it's something as complicated, the Italian Wars, because it goes on for so long and so many countries are involved and so many cities are involved. And
they change sides constantly. Like I said, there's a documentary series on YouTube. I think is it Kings and Generals? It might be King. Yeah, the one that does the animated maps.
That's the one. Yeah.
They do. I think it's like an 11 or 12 part. And I learned more just by watching that, because it's animated, it explains, it does like micro detail and macro detail. It shows the overall map, that it goes into individual battles, like Pavia and stuff like that. I find it really, in fact, I go back every now and again just to sort of refresh, but it's an absolutely fascinating period. It's just people have got claims to kingdoms because of 4 generations down the family tree, and it's honestly it's really interesting. I mean, horrible people. I mean,
oh yeah, most of them were pretty horrible people. But I think that's just normal. That's the norm.
That's just normal. Yeah.
But no, I'm with you, and it's that Kings and Generals video series I think they're brilliant, but they're responsible for more projects than I think even from me.
James just put really awesome for visual. Absolutely. Yeah. When you see the things moving and you can see the actual people or paintings of them anyway, excuse me, and the way it doesn't overload you with unnecessary information. It sets it out in a really clear way. I just found it really, really interesting. Great period. I think if I tried to read a book about it, I'd have to. I don't know. I think I might struggle to remember everything.
I think as I've got older, I've realised I'm more of a visual learner. So actually, those videos are absolutely excellent for me. I really enjoy it. I actually enjoy watching. I think you were talking about this last week. The inspiration for games as well is that, or periods and projects and what have you. I find that as well, because I'll watch something that I'm not even remotely interested in. As a period or as a game system, and actually suddenly find myself almost buying into it because I get really engrossed in the game. And
that's how I
picked a bit. Yeah.
When I clicked on that random video that time, the War of the Triple Alliance.
Yeah.
And I mean that was a 20-minute video, and after that I tried to find everything I could about it, because I would say it was interesting. It was absolutely a horrible period of history. Awful war. But again, until that I saw that video, I had no idea it even existed. I was like, what's this? Clicked on it, was appalled by the awfulness, and yet was still compelled to try and learn more.
To watch it more and more and more.
But really, again, another fascinating period. Not very nice, but really interesting.
Yeah, indeed. So yes, that was my main reading matter, and also I was saying to Martin before he dropped off, or before he even joined. Actually, I'm also trying to do some research into. Oh bloody hell, he's back! Look at that. He's back.
I can't. I'm going to stay. No, it's not going to work, is it? That little symbol.
Still there for the minute. You're not moving. Shall I just tell the viewers what you said in chat? Just
I remember what I said. Oh yeah.
In fact, I'll put it in the. Here we go. So you go. This is what he said.
Evil little.
Evil little box before promising.
Sorry.
There you go. So don't say any of those words because I'll get.
We'll demonetize. We'll just have it in writing. Yeah. Yeah. According to Sky, there's no issues anywhere.
No,
the TV's I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I appear to be able to speak.
There was a lot of comments about maybe Hayley's doing some shopping or something.
No, she's watering the garden. No, she's watering the garden. I dare that lot to say that to her face. I dare you.
Oh dear.
Ironically, though, the last 30 seconds have been the best connection since 8 o'clock. So
yeah, they have actually. You're suddenly okay. Quick, maybe the water's helping. Right, while you're still on, do you want to take us through what you've been working on, mate?
My internet connection, maybe. What have I been doing? I've been editing quite a few videos. I've been deciding on new things that I want to buy, buying them, and then returning them because they didn't work. So that was also good. No,
going today, mate.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those days. Is it you? Mondays, it's not a good day today. So no, what I've been working on. So I am currently working on some early medieval stuff. So I'll put up a picture here. So I've just finished these, which are Victrix Saxons, or Anglo-Dane Saxons, which have been good fun to work on. Then they are. It's a little bit more of a close up, and these are for pillage.
For the new Victrix thing.
Yes, they are. So this is a little starter list that I put together, which is about half the size of what you actually need to play. And this is the Anglo-Danish Saxon list that I'm doing, which I'm basing sort of on an idea of Hereward the Wake. Is my little shield wall I decided to put together. It's not the most impressive shield wall, but there you go. There's a few guys there to.
I remember reading a very good fictional book about him. I can't remember who wrote it, but it was absolutely fantastic.
The whole history about him is amazing. Anyway, that might as well be fiction. I said last week, he punched
someone, isn't it? Yeah,
killed them. Yeah, he's amazing, and then he just disappears.
Yeah.
Spoiler. It's so I've just worked on those this week. So I've painted up sort of a starter force of those. I'm currently working on some Normans, which is kind of annoying because I have thousands of Normans, but they're all multi-based. So I'm just using what's the leftovers at the moment. But I'm working with Victrix, and you'll see some stuff. Well, you were going to see some stuff a bit quicker if the new camera had worked, but it didn't. So, that's going to that's going to be coming out. But yeah, so I've just been working on some stuff there. So
Nice.
I'm excited to get that out. So yeah, they're all coming. Early medieval, is that the Dark Ages? No. Just no.
It is, but Martin would never allow you to say it, so it's not.
Well, I was thinking about this because I'll accept the term. What did I say? I'll accept the term the Dark Ages for the immediate post-Roman stuff, so like the Arthurian stuff. But by the time you get up to like basically Hastings, that's not the Dark Ages.
No, true. Give you that.
So there.
Yeah. All right.
There we go. So they're cool. So that's quite cool. So I'll have some stuff coming on about that, and that's about it. Actually, come to think of it, there we go.
Awesome. Good. Well, that's good to know. I like it. Looks good. I like it very much. What was I going to say? Okay, well, let's get on to our topic of the night, shall we? So I thought this would be an interesting one, around about sort of advice for people about how several versions of this. So how do you transport your figures if you're going between a club or conventional or to a show or anything else like that? And how do you store them in wherever you store them? What's the sort of tips of the trade, so to speak, that you have? And we'll start with figures, because I think that's probably the most common thing that most people use. I mean, back in the day, people used to use metal toolboxes. In fact, I've still got a couple. I only threw one away fairly recently. I mean, metal figures in a metal toolbox, you needed some. I mean, you got proper physical workout carrying them around, I can tell you. I mean, there's the ubiquitous, I can't even say it, rub boxes, really useful boxes.
Yeah.
Certainly something I use. So my most used box is the 4mm, which I use for pretty much everything and also transport with. And then for the biggies, the cavalry or pikemen and that sort of thing, the 9-litre jobby. That's how I go. What about you, Steve? What do you work on? What's your?
To be fair, my first ever storage box was an old fishing tackle box.
Nice.
I've still got it actually. It now serves as my toolbox. It's got all metal Kerrang stickers over it. Anyway, no, I used that in the early 90s to transport my Rogue Trader Marines around in. These days, I'm lucky that I don't. If I game here. I don't travel. My friend comes here. So his storage solution is boxes, just Amazon boxes. But that, for actually storing things, yeah. If you shop at Amazon a lot, you will have a lot of cardboard boxes.
Yeah, that's very true.
All of my figures from various bolt action armies and projects are in Amazon boxes, strategically and cunningly hidden around my apartment. And sometimes I forget where they are or what's in them. It's like
it's like on the outside of them.
Sometimes I do, but sometimes I'll change them over. The only one that's actually got anything written on it says bolt action Winter Germans, and that's it. And sometimes getting a project out you've not looked at for months, like a massive game of Tetris, because it all goes back the same way. Otherwise, it will affect the structural integrity of the pile.
I have visions of your. This is going to sound very weird, but I have visions of your bed made up with of cardboard boxes, and somewhere in the middle is your mattress where you lay.
Can you see stuff behind me? Part of the ceiling. Yeah, that's some of the stash. That's mostly bolt action armies, and I've also got 4 massive big boxes just full of bolt action sprues and bits and pieces. And every time I go there, it's like Indiana Jones. I have to get like a torch and a hat and a whip just to go over there because it terrifies me because there's that much stuff. And I don't even want to know what's underneath here. It's just diabolical. But for actually transporting stuff on the rare occasion I do game outside of here, I use Feldherr. I've got like a little carry box because
the German one.
Yeah. So mine was originally for X-Wing. But if you're a skirmish gamer like myself, you don't need to transport 400 figures. You need to transport 20. It also fits in there as well. Bit of bubble wrap, put your figures in, sorted. Got all my dice, all my counters, all my tape measures, all in one Feldherr box. So that's my. I mean, ideally, I'd love a proper storage solution, but given the fact that I live in a shoebox. That's not happening at any point in the near future.
I've got storage boxes bigger than your flat, haven't I?
Yeah. Most people have got boxes, bigger than this floor of my flat. But no, storage. Yeah, mine's a bit all over the place. Still ask about face. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. No. I try and keep my bolt action armies together as far as I can. But sometimes I have to put them in multiple boxes. But at least I know where everything is, because I know if I did a big tidy, I wouldn't be able to find anything.
No,
I'd forget where everything was. And I don't want to do that.
I think that's my biggest frustration with because I do transport figures quite a lot between here and the club and other places from time to time. But it's fine if you're doing a skirmish game or a smaller scale game where everything fits in 1 or 2 boxes. Yeah. But invariably, all the figures are stashed because I use the same boxes to store as I do to transport.
Yeah.
I'll find that, it's like the other day I was trying to get out my Confederate ACW 28mm army, and like half the figures I needed in that set of boxes, and then there were another load in that, and I ended up having to it was you either had to disassemble the boxes to put them all in one, so that you only have to take 4 boxes, or you took 8. So I took 8 because I didn't have time. And then you realize 8 boxes of plastic figures with metals interspersed is actually still quite heavy.
I can imagine.
Lump them into the club. But I also use bubble wrap just to stop them moving around because that's, although when some absolute buffoon pulled out in front of me the other day and I had to hit the brake rather hard, that didn't help very well. But there you go. So yeah, what about you, Martin? You kind of do move around a bit with your figures. Are you?
I do a bit. I'm just quickly going to address what Alex has said. I completely agree with Alex about the Dark Ages, but every time I speak to wargamers, they get the same look on their face, like when my granddad. I tried to explain Slayer to my granddad, all right, back in like 1994 or whatever it was, And I feel
this is a thing for every archaeologist I've ever heard and every historian I've ever listened to on podcasts or anything else, is their number one comment about the Dark Ages is, it didn't exist. It was never dark. It wasn't. But it's still, we like to wind everyone up about it. Is he gone again? Oh, look, he got excited about Dark Ages and look, he's dropped off. Oh, bloody hell. Never mind. I'll teach him to talk about Dark Ages. Yes, I'm going to be. Sorry.
That's what I like when I used to play X-Wing, in the tournament thing. That you didn't. I mean, you took a maximum sort of 6 ships. In your little bag, you had all your tokens, all your dice, all your measuring sticks, and it was all in one box. And those things are really good as well because you get 2 lots of foam. They're always compact. Nothing's going to break. You can probably drop kick that thing down the stairs and nothing would break in it. But I found it doubles up really well. So when I was running Space Weirdos at CrackCon, I put all the figures I needed in that carry thing. Again, bubble wrapped each figure. Everything went in that bag. Really good.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's I mean, I know I sometimes when it's a game at the club and someone goes, oh well, let's play 15 mil, much of me sort of goes, oh no, I like to play 28 because it looks better and I like the look of the visual, but also part of me thinks, thank God I only need to take 2 boxes because everything's going to be in those. So but yeah, so I'm interested. I'll come back to the chat because there's been some interesting comments around a lot of people using really useful boxes or something very similar.
Some days, some mornings on CrackCon when people are walking in, we're like, no, this event is not sponsored by really useful boxes. Everyone just seems to have them. It's a very popular choice.
Do you know, I think I get more trouble from Elaine for a big box of really useful boxes arriving than I do for the figures. Because I think it's because she realizes that if I need to get more, it means I've got even more figures to store in them.
Blimey.
But also the fact is the courier generally delivers them in, I don't know, I usually get them in sort of a massive box of 20 or 30 at a time because generally you can bulk buy them, we get cheaper. And also I'm generally not there when the courier arrives, so she has to try and drag them into the so I get in so much trouble for that. Anyway, but yeah, I think rub boxes are brilliant. Maybe we should actually. That's a very good. Like that idea, James. Have you contacted Rub for sponsorship? I think that's brilliant.
All they have to do is get one of their reps to turn up at the morning of CrackCon and work out. And we're putting your kids through college.
So for the people who use really useful boxes or similar in the chat, do you use those dividers? How do you keep them from moving around within the block? I mean, I know you can buy those inserts. War bases do them. Various other people do them, don't they? Where they're cut to shape to drop the figures in. If you're playing skirmish type games, then there's sort of little 250 mil size holes or whatever it may be. Various other people. I think there's a framework thing you can buy for them as well. Various different types. But do you use that? I saw somebody said they used. Magnetic stuff. That's something we used to use back in the day with the steel boxes. We'd put magnetic tape under the figures and then they'd stick to the box, which stopped them moving around. But
doesn't Yorkshire Ken? Doesn't he use magnetic strips?
I think he does. Yeah, it's real old school, so I would expect he would. I had tons of the stuff for ages. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, it's interesting because I think. So my problem with the dividers is they never seem to work. They never seem to fit the regiments. So it means I also have to try and remember exactly what went in that hole. And I know I could put a little sticker or something, but I'm lazy, we've established. So it kind of then it becomes a bit of a mishmash, which is why I like just all the leftover bubble wrap from all the purchases I've got. So you use the Amazon boxes. I use the leftover bubble wrap and I use that to mold it out.
So I always had this image that when Ken's unboxing his Italian Wars stuff and there's all those parties, like the last thing some people would see when they've had a bad day from Vlad the Impaler. It's like, it's Ken's really useful box for his Italian Wars. He just spike after spike.
He did put a comment on the Facebook page, which I'll read out because it was actually really interesting. He said, a lot depends on how you what you plan to do with your figures. Once you decide that you're going to take them out of your house, it becomes a lot more complicated. How often are you taking them? Are you planning to take them around the country, etc.? After years and years, you can't really beat really useful boxes. And my top tip would be depend on the size. For each particular collection, depth can differ, say for cavalry, etc. But if they have the same footprint, really useful boxes interlock with each other and prevent them sliding around when you're driving, which is what I love about that.
Yeah.
Unless the Duke pulls out in front of you. Then you need to secure the figures inside the box. Personally, I put MDF base in and then glue wooden dividers in between the units so they don't slide around. But you could use trays or magnetic basing, etc. He says he stayed away from trays because he has different size units, and I stayed away from magnetic bases because I have 30,000 figures, and that's a bleep ton of magnetic basing. He also turns the rub boxes upside down for pike units to make them easier to get out, which if you've ever been stabbed by by a pike unit is actually a really good idea. I wish I did that. So yeah, I think that's a definite winner. So he definitely builds those sort of frames around each unit, and I think he also is pretty good at standardizing his units, so they're all pretty similar. So it actually doesn't get around that problem that I have, where you think, well, everything seems to be slightly doesn't quite fit within it. So
remember, one thing I used to use was an old toolbox, but I never trusted the handle for carrying it. So I always had visions of walking through it and then the whole thing is opening. So I always used to carry it rather than carry it with the handle. I'm probably like a complete idiot.
I had a friend of mine who had I think it was a 15 mil ancient army of some size and detail in a toolbox, and he was coming down from upstairs and he slipped and he dropped it. The effect of an entire toolbox filled with quite a hundredweight of metal figures bouncing down the stairs, spraying bits everywhere, taking chunks out of the wall and everything else, and then landing at the heap on the bottom, and was only matched by the look of absolute anguish on his face. And I wasn't sure because he was going to get killed by his wife, or which he did, or whether it was more the fact that the number of figures that were smashed, and a lot were.
I've only ever dropped one complete full army, and it was years ago when I used to play Epic Space Marine. I had quite a big Chaos army, and I used to go to rant with my Andy's every Sunday. We'd play Epic. I come home one night, I was walking upstairs, and I just dropped it. It just fell out my hand, and it bounced and went down the stairs. And I didn't look in the box for 2 days. I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to depress myself. I thought it's going to be smashed to pieces. And to be fair, it was about 99 times less smashed than I thought it was. It was a few of the metal things were chipped. Some of the greater demons had come off the bases, but the majority of stuff was perfect. But,
held up.
Yeah, well, yeah, God, it was just awful. It was like slow motion. It's going. Dum, dum.
That's the worst thing when it happens. You just see it, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just bounce.
So I took it to the room and I was like, right, I've not got the mental fortitude at the moment to assess the damage. So I just left it for 2 days, and I was like that. But, well, yeah, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Here's a thing from Andy, which I like. He said, coloured, really useful.
Oh, yeah.
Themed by armies is the way to go.
That's organisation, Andy. That's organisation.
Phenomenal. I wish I'd done that. I mean, I've got far too many now to change, but that is brilliant. I love that. I just use stickers on the outside. Darren says he doesn't use any dividers, magnetic sheets only. Doesn't that just add to the weight, though?
Possibly.
Like the old man. But those, because you need to do the magnetic sheets, you need to have like a steel plate to put in the bottom, don't you? For the magnetic stuff to stick to. So that adds quite a lot. Anyway, I don't know. Mobile and Hostile says magnetic rubber strips. There you go. Another one.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
He says he uses the non-slope draw liner stuff. Don't know what that is, but anyway, there you go. Phil just says magnets. Lots of magnets. I love it. He works onto magnets as well, using magnetic sheets and magnets on the bases in my rubs.
Yeah. I was actually thinking of getting one of those really useful boxes for my Space Weirdo scenery, because that's largely self-contained. It all looks the same, and in there you could fit. I play it on a 2x2 board, so it's it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. It's not a lot of scenery. So I think you can get a lot in there. Sam, what's it's a good replacement for packing peanuts or bubble wrap? I learned something. I learned something the other day. I was told this, and I didn't know how true it was, so I tried it for myself. The packing stuff you get the bullet things.
Yeah.
Do you know they dissolve in water?
I didn't know that.
They dissolve in water. I tried it the next day because I found some, and you put it in water and it dissolves.
Wow. I'm impressed.
It's
I'm going to try that now. I'm going to have to order something so they get delivered in them and I can use them. It's a good excuse. It's the best excuse when they arrive and Elaine goes, not more figures. I go, I'm doing a scientific experiment.
This is in the name of science. This is
in the name of science. It's all fine.
Rob was just put only the starch-based ones. Yeah, that's why. That's the reason they dissolve. It's still magic, though.
So Mark's got a really interesting question here, which I've never had to do, but it has crossed my mind. Transportation questions. Are there any really viable options for moving thousands of figures across the Atlantic? Seriously considering not moving back to the UK because of the issues. It's an interesting, wasn't it? The guy who does JP, Jonathan, he does some really good Napoleonic and ACW games on the interweb with his son. And he moved out to the US a year or two ago now. And he had a really, really good, very impressive collection of 28 mils. And he said, I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to box them all up, put them into storage. And he's effectively started again in 15 mil based in the US, which I guess will be easier to ship back. But for him, he's actually intending to come back at some point. So I don't know. It has crossed my mind because work sometimes does think about moving around, or even just moving. It doesn't have to be around the country. If you're moving house, packing them up and making sure that they're safe is an interesting.
Don't use a very infamous courier company in the UK.
Definitely,
because they'll just be drop kicked into your postcode, and that's about all. I said when I moved here, I had a really, really short turnaround for moving. So I threw away quite a lot of my stuff. I threw away 2 Flames of War armies. I just didn't have the space or the means to transport them. So I threw away my Sikh army, and I threw away an Italian army.
Wow.
It was. I mean, looking back, I don't know, because I was in a real hurry. The 2 weeks have been stressful. It was on, then off, and then in the middle of it, I was homeless. I had literally nowhere to move to. So I just wanted this stuff packed up. So I threw out bits boxes. I actually chucked out. That's where my 6mm French Napoleonic army went. I threw that in the bin. Because I just thought, there's no way I'm painting this. It was a great big, honestly, it was a great big wodge of metal. And I thought, there's more chance of me painting the Mona Lisa than painting this lot. So again, straight in the bin, along with Flames of War and a bunch of bits boxes. Horrific times.
Interesting. Wargaming History said I transported mine from Australia in toolboxes and magnets to France. Interesting. I'm intrigued because some people do transport around for competitions and things like that, don't they? Quite even internationally with that, and it intrigues me because So for sort of bolt action or some of the 40k games, I guess, some of those smaller games, it's relatively easy, and you can buy those quite nice carrying bags, can't you? Or even just put them in a holdall, put loads and loads of foam around them, and blah blah, and I'm sure they'd be fine. But transporting, well, as he said, 10,000 28mm figures. That's a whole different kettle of fish. It really is.
If I was transporting a 40k army, I'd be, are they going to get smashed? How much should I be insuring them for? Because I've spent a shit ton of money on these things. Yeah. I think I'd be more concerned. But yeah, I mean, 10,000 28mm figures, halfway across the world. That's a
periodically we talk about moving, and apart from that, I don't want to leave this cabin behind. I still can't work out whether I could just lift it off on a trailer and take it somewhere. But it also what worries me, because how would I shift all this? I mean, it just my beauties. What would happen to them?
Would you have to do it yourself, or would you entrust it to a moving company?
I think I would have to do it myself. Certainly, with the majority of the armies that I really care for. I would have to do it. I think I would. In fact, I did think about this quite seriously, and it's interesting. Nathan said what he did. He said, moved twice last year. All my minis went in really useful boxes, then to my wife's uncle place to go into storage. Then when we moved to the final place, I collected them, and not one was damaged. I think that's the sort of thing I would do. I would package them up. I'd find a really, one of those storage places. And rent it for whatever the minimum period is, and just store them all in there. And then over the period of the next however many weeks, I've still got it to then shift them on to the new place. I think that's all I could do. I couldn't trust the removal people to do it. No way.
You'd still be terrified, though. I mean,
I completely. I mean, I drive like a bat out of hell, but I'd be driving like an old biddy. I mean, I'd just be so slow and gentle, just no rocking the boat. And I would probably do what I do when I go to, because going up to Derby, I brought quite a lot of my Napoleon stuff for that. And actually, they survived pretty well, to be fair. And all I did with that was exactly what I do when I go to the club. I just stuffed bubble wrap and tissue and various other things around the figures just to stop them moving. And there were no magnets or anything else in the boxes, but they pretty much survived. I mean, I think the odd, standard might have come off and you just super glue them back on, but on the whole, it actually survived really well.
Because you hear horror, you hear horror stories and people go to tournaments, and dropping armies. Or I think someone in the chat a couple months back, I don't know whether they're still in the chat now, said one of their friends he put his army case on his roof of his car and just drove off.
Big small world. I've been delaying moving for years because it's a nightmare due to my stuff.
Well, I mean, it's like I said, logistically, you would have to give it some massive thought. I mean, it's not like moving a sofa, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. Hobby Brush says, I moved house last year. 80k painted miniatures, 80k, 8k painted, 4k unpainted, rub boxes, GW carrying cases, and a pile of spare foam, all moved into storage and then unpacked again at my own speed in cabinets. That's exactly what I would do.
I imagine
that's exactly what I do.
I imagine that would be pretty therapeutic as well.
Well, yeah, he said it took him months to pack them. Yeah, I can believe it. I mean, on the other hand, I would imagine also it can be like any move. It's a bit therapeutic because those armies that you just think, you know what, I'm never going to use these. You can clear them out. But I don't know. I'm still working on the assumption that I could find a way that I could just vacuum pack everything in here somehow, and then the whole building would be lifted up and put on a trailer. There's a big road just there. I could just get them. I mean, there's a whole load of trees, so they don't have to come down. But I'm sure a lorry could park on the other side and pick it up and move it. And I mean, I'll stay in here just making sure everything's safe, obviously.
I was going to say, how much by the hour do you reckon it cost to hire a Chinook helicopter?
Now that's I like your thinking.
I mean, seriously, you could actually do that. I mean, as long as
that's a genius idea, Steve. I love it.
You
move's on, Elaine.
You put sheet against all your shelves and make sure everything is completely packed down. Hire a massive helicopter.
Wow.
Job's a good one.
I love it. Trash Panda Game says I've moved 5 times in 10 years. Bubble wrap, tape, Costco containers is cheap, but every time it's still on a wing and a prayer. Yeah,
I can well imagine.
Yeah, so I think, Mark, you need to sort of just do your best, really. Package them all up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're traveling intercontinentally, so to speak, you're going to need to trust a courier company somehow to get it there. But I don't know.
I suppose it might be a good time for like a figure audit, though. You know, to go through and do you actually need every single last one?
Yeah.
I mean, I should probably do that, but I'm not going to. So.
I wonder also whether there's something you could do with maybe you could get that sort of expanding foam. Could you sort of put them in? Would that damage the figures and it will be impossible to get off? You know,
fill the shed with insulation.
There you go. That's exactly what. Yeah, I don't know whether it would work, but you can imagine filling your box with it and just nothing would move around. But then, how easy is it to get it out afterwards?
You take it out, and all you do is you rip all the paint off.
There's my army.
Yeah. No, don't need a sandwich bag. We've got some insulation foam. They're definitely in there. That's my army in really close formation.
I love it. James has got the best answer there. Any safe solution is clearly to buy so many minis that none can move about and ship the entire boot room. There you go. Sorted. Absolutely sorted. Right. What's the time? What about... so we'll come back to some of the comments because there's been some great ones. But just the other thing is around... We're talking about figures, but storage and movement of terrain.
Oh, God.
That's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? It's not as easy as
no, it's not.
As putting it in a whole load of really useful boxes. So what do you do with your terrain?
At the moment, all my terrain is in Amazon boxes on top of my wardrobe.
Yeah.
And that's why setting a game of ball action is like an exercise workout for me. There's that much lifting and carrying. Just to get all the scenery out, but it's it does take up space. It takes up a lot of space, so it's bigger rooms. And to be fair, I've opened for years. I was like, I'll just make do with really basic scenery. But recently, I've wanted to improve the look of my games, and with more scenery comes less space. But it all seems to be, I've got a big box. It's more of a dumping ground for old broken terrain. And normally I go in there if I want to resurrect a terrain project. Or I think all my old Necromunda sceneries in there, and some of my battle system stuff. But the MDF buildings and all the scatter and the trees and the buildings and the mats and stuff, that's all in boxes on top of my wardrobe. So, but all my Space Widows thing is contained in just one box. Everything in one really small box. So that's why I like Space Widows. That to get a game, I've got all the figures. I've got all my skirmish figures in one box, and I've got the scenery in one box. So if I need to, I could take those boxes sort of anywhere, and have a nice 2 foot by 2 foot fast-paced skirmish game.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, for me. So, lots of comments about people using just bigger, really useful boxes. I don't know.
Yes.
That's just, and it makes a lot of sense. For me, I've got, because I most of the terrain's put under the tables. So, but I've got those, the sort of really sort of knockoff versions of really useful boxes that aren't very good that you buy in Poundland and the Range.
Oh, right, yeah.
I bought some of those because they're really big. And I pile all the terrain in there. But the trouble is then it doesn't keep them in a very good condition because they're all piled in together. And B, they're all over the place. And the one thing I want to do a better job with is actually spend a bit of time going through it and having things stored better for terrain. I think Alex was on here earlier. Alec was on here earlier from my club. But when I go to the club, I have a little, one of those trolley dolly boxes that you see old biddies use at when they're going around flower shows. In fact, that's where I bought it from. It's like a foldable box thing with a handle and I use that, and I fill that with whatever train I'm going to need for the night, and I load that, and they all took the mickey out of me when I first started doing it, and then people going, "Oh, where'd you get that from?"
Do they all do it now?
I got it from a flower show that my wife dragged me along to, and I bought one for her. She never uses it, and she bought one for me as a joke, and I use it all the time. So they just one of those things. But yeah, transporting terrain is a nightmare, especially if you need lots of buildings, because you don't want to get them damaged. But you're going to need, and trees, another thing. We've been playing, massive numbers of trees you need, and it's.
I'm currently redoing my trees. They were all individually, they weren't based very well or consistently. So I've spent the past couple of weeks. Warlord Games do those oval base packs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've been gluing all my trees to oval bases. So I can make proper little forest. It just looks nice. And it's better than just having the crappy individual trees that I used to have, but put a bit of work into them. But you're right, storing them is an absolute total unremitting pain in the arse.
Yeah. And also because, I mean, again, this is where the different, if you really want to do a good job with the game and you want it to look really nice, and you want it to be sort of fitting with whatever you're playing, you need to have, it's not just a question of having 6mm, 15mm, 20mm, 28mm terrain that fits the scale, but also the different periods.
Yes,
because
I know.
you can't use a Dark Age. I'm going to use it since he's not around. Battle fought over something that's clearly Normandy, and likewise, you can't have. Well, it doesn't look great to have something that's a snow effect terrain in amongst something that's in the desert. So it becomes a real, increase in the amount of stuff you need. You almost need, even if you're quite judicious on your armies, you end up having even more terrain than that just to match up.
That's what I really liked. The other week I picked up some of those tabletop ready buildings from war bases.
Yeah, I got
the industrial 4 industrial ones.
Oh yeah,
they are so good because they could go from late sort of 1800s all the way up to modern day. They've got an old brick look about them. So you could use them across. So you could use them across so many different periods.
Nice.
The Wild West ones, obviously, they're a bit more focused on the Wild West.
Obvious which ones they're for, yeah.
But the industrial ones, that's what I liked about them. There was nothing on them that would age them or place them at a certain period or in time. I think they're really, really good for that.
I like Nathan's idea on the move question. First you move, then you finally the kids. Nice. Thank you for that. I think it's interesting, isn't it? A terrain is what makes the game, I think, visually.
Yeah.
But also is the biggest pain in the butt for me, anyway, for storage. And I'm not sure I've got a right solution for it yet. I'm still struggling with that. I'm going to have to spend some time really measuring, because someone's saying in the chat, it's like measuring the biggest item, biggest tree or what have you, so that the box can hold them, and again, not make them rattle around too much.
There is that as well. What I need to get round to doing actually is I need to put some more lights on my Space Weirdo scenery. Those tea lights of the batteries have all gone, so I need to buy some more. No. But again, I love doing that. That was just a sign. When I get into a scenery project, I do get into it. I've just got to motivate myself. But again, things like that, they all fit in that box. That's why I do love the really small scale stuff. You just fit it in a box, 10 figures, 8-9 pieces of scenery, some scatter, and you're done.
Nice. What have we got here? I'm just going to go and look at some of the comments on the Facebook page again. Steve said, well, for transportation stuff, I mainly use really useful boxes. For storage, then he showed a picture of those sort of, I didn't download it, sorry, Steve, but there's a sort of like a wall of those interlocking.
Oh yeah, that looked really, again, really organization, really organized. It looked really good.
Absolutely. Steve, Basement One, he sent his storage.
I can imagine that triples every week though with the amount of Napoleonics he's
I
currently.
know.
I mean,
I don't believe that's all he's got. I reckon
No.
it goes back about 5 different levels, don't you?
That's what he painted this week.
That's it. I mean, he makes me look like a slouch when it comes to painting.
I dread to think how many Napoleonics are in those boxes. It's just it gives me chest pains just thinking about it.
And what was the other question? The other point? Oh, I've lost it again. Here we go. Robin's solution to storage. So far, my storage strategy has been to move to a new house when I run out of room. Thanks, Robin. Really helpful. Let's have a little pause and we'll come back. And I'm going to talk about things like paints and how you store them. Ooh. And maybe a bit on display cabinets as well. If you use those, what people use for that as well, because that's all part of the storing and, you know, looking after your figures and what have you, showing off your work. So we'll get back to that in a minute. But let's do a little bit of news. We may have to wing this a bit because our colleague has gone and some of the bits were from him. So we'll just see how it goes, really. Let me play the music. We got anything, Steve, before I launch?
No.
Right, you looked horrified there, mate. I'm sorry.
No. You'll be horrified if I ever actually have news one week.
I would actually. I wouldn't know what to do, to be honest. But there you go. So first up, we talked about it a bit earlier on tonight. Warlords showed off the new Italian War supplement, which is called Death and the Landsknecht. Is the supplement. It's for the pike and shot set of rules, and it's on pre-order at the moment. £22 if you buy it direct from them. You get that special figure. If you buy it from somewhere like Boards and Swords and use the PCP5 code, you'll get probably about 18 quid, 19 quid. I don't know what it is. Check with them, but you'll get it a lot cheaper. But you probably won't get the figure. That's the only thing. So that's on pre-order.
I'm actually interested in picking this up.
Are you? Interesting.
It might give, because my Landsknecht army is, I think I'm only 2 pike blocks and 2 smaller units away from completing the starter box. And the next one I'm going to do is going to be the black band. So they're easy to paint because they're just black and red and white. So
nice. Yeah, that's
so. Yeah,
I'm very excited by this. I'm genuinely excited about this one. It should be, and I actually think I've said it before, but I think of the 3 sort of Warlord systems for this, Black Powder, Pike and Shot, and Hail Caesar. I think Pike and Shot is the best one. So the fact they're doing this in that period, I think, is great. So my only criticism again is they're pumping these things out so flipping quick. You never get a chance to use the last one before they move on to the next one. But maybe anyway. But also to accompany them, they've shown off a series of figures. Now, this is dividing opinion. What do you think of these, Steve?
They're metal, aren't they?
They are metal. Yeah.
No, it's a no from me. Those pikes and halberds, they won't stay straight for long. They
also look very geeky in their poses, don't they? I don't know what the arquebuses are doing, but
the plastic Landsknechts are quite chunky. They've got a bit of heft to them, if you will. I don't know if they would. I don't know. I'd have to have a proper look, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think you have to see them in the flesh. That's for sure.
Age of the God.
The Age of the God piece. Very good. Yeah, true. So they've also got Pike, which I think look better, but still rather gimpy. I don't know. There's something about them that you're right, because I think their plastic set is really good.
It is.
So I'm not sure. So,
scrawny.
Yeah, bang on, John. Exactly right.
Really skinny. Yeah, not a fan.
I agree with you, Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good manufacturers out there of Landsknechts and Swiss and what have you. Look, the Perrys do some great ones. You've got those plastic Warlord ones themselves are very good. You've got Steel Fist are amazing, a little pricey, amazing. I find it very strange that, as you say, I'm very surprised they did them in metal as well.
Actually, James has got a good point here. It feels like one of the ranges that Warlord bought rather than recent sculpts. So
could be right, James. You could be right.
So is that it? Are they an old company's sculpts?
I don't know. Somehow the picture's gone missing, but there was also some commanders they did, and they actually looked better. They had better size to the figures, although they were bloody expensive. They were like £7.50 for one figure, which I think is a little pricey.
Not compared with that Landscape starter box. You get a crap ton of plastic, but you also get command in there. You get a metal command. You get the Landbush cannon thing as well. Great starter box, that it really is. But again,
very good starter.
But the that's versatile because all the bodies fit the pike, the arquebuses, and the crossbows, and the Zweihanders as well. So they're very, very versatile. And like I say, they're chunky. They look.
Possibly. It would seem very odd that they would create a new range of when they've got the packs, wouldn't it? It would seem very odd to do that. Yeah, good shout, Rich. Artisan do some lovely.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah,
really good shout on that. So you don't have to buy the figures they're producing, but I'm excited about the book. I think it's going to be an interesting one to get hot little hands on. Also, this is VMV. They're continuing with their expansion into the medieval period. These are Hussites that they've produced. So I think they come in resin. VMV. So nice detail.
Yeah, they look very crisp. They do look nice and crisp.
Very much so. Blessed Perrys have been at it again.
Oh dear.
So they've done some Saxon. These are Saxon Napoleonics in metal. So I think they're for 1800. I think they were 1806. Beautiful models. I mean, they did such an amazing job with them. So the Saxons, and also some Prussian artillery from the same period, and limbers. Again, the gun seems to have dropped off. It does that a lot on these systems. Anyway, there you go. Really nice. Very nice to see. And particularly, there seems to be a big push on sort of earlier Napoleonic War stuff, which I like, because it hasn't really been supported as well as some others. Empress also showed off some more of their colonial figures. So some really nice cavalry figures, sort of from the Cape battles and Orange River range, and they're it's a fairly obscure period actually. So, but they keep filling it out, and they're beautiful figures.
They do look
really nice. And then Mr. Hicks has also been producing for them some new. These are for the Spanish Civil War. So these are nationalists that have been added to that range. Again, period I really would like to game at some point, but I just never got round to it. So many periods, so little time. But those are beautiful. I like the figures. Really nice. Talked about them earlier. War Bases have just shown off a new set of both unpainted, if you like, and pre-painted MDF sets come out. So these ones are Dark Age, and see, they're using it. Dark Age and early medieval. There you go. And then there's another set. There you go. Some of them, as you can see, the lower ones there are pre-coloured. So you just need to assemble them and give them a little bit of a dirt up, if you like, and they're good to go. So very good. And I think, as it says there, they're available. Where did it say on the first one? Available as of this weekend at War Bases. So check them out. Also, as you mentioned, Steve, they tend to go to all sorts of shows, so I'm sure they're well equipped with. If you let them know, they'll bring them along.
Yeah, they're due Phalanx on Saturday, so yeah,
nice.
I shall check them out.
Also, Victrix showed off their new. These are the first view of their new medieval foot knights. And they look some serious hard buggers, don't they? I love the one at the front left. He
Yes.
looks like he's seriously going to give you a working over, isn't he? You back away from him for sure.
He's gonna ruin your day in about 10 seconds.
You're not going to have a good day in 5 minutes, are you, with him coming at you? So, yeah, really like those. So that's going to be interesting to see what those look out. And I guess they're part of that skirmish set. What is it, Pillage or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Whatever it's called, the new set. They're sort of pushing hard on producing new kits that can be used for that as well. So, so that was all I saw. So let's see what Martin pulled up.
I'll try and decipher.
I mean,
so they are what mentions that these are the guys that do the little gnomes.
Okay, nice.
So that's clearly some kind of lizard men riding dinosaurs, because who doesn't want?
I mean, I can see why Martin put them up.
They look.
Oh, now that looks like a special character figure for Second World War. Is it on?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Did he leave a
no? He just
no.
See, I wrote little notes on mine, but he didn't on his, so I have no idea what that is. Sorry about that, folks. You'll just have to guess. Unless you know in the chat, of course. Also, that was what we talked about, Pillage.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm ransacking the Middle Ages. So actually, it's a bit earlier than those nights, but there you go. So that's up for pre-order already. I think the pre-order's actually well and truly advanced. I saw a post from them saying they're inundated with orders over the weekend. So that's with Victrix if you're interested. And they're doing these with little warband sets to go with them, which is a very clever idea if you pre-order. Also, these really nice accessory packs that they were giving or doing for the game. So, I mean, that could be nice scenery for pretty much anything in that period, I would think. I'm sure Alex or somebody else will tell me that there is a marked difference in a clay pot from the Dark Ages to the latter High Medieval period, but I'm going with the fact you could use them pretty much any period through the dark and dingy, muddy, killy times. So there you go. That's that, and also some animals to go with it. So we like our animals on here, don't we, Steve? So you've got
those goats. I love the. I saw some goats. I saw some goats at a zoo a couple of weeks back, and they look exactly those big heavy metal horns they've got going on there. I definitely approve of them. But no, they're really good. I do like them.
Different slips and materials in the clay. Thank you very much. Firing techniques was different as well. All right, thanks, Alex. I only did it to wind you up, mate. What else we got? There's some stuff here. I genuinely have no idea what this is.
That is a Black Templar Space Marine.
There you go. That's
tumbleweed followed by silence.
I mean, whatever. Yeah,
it does. So there
you go. There's a supplement to go with it. So that would be logical.
With the medieval haircut in the bottom left.
Oh gosh, yes.
No, it's interesting. I mean, that figure that I like that figure. It did look quite nice. There's just something, I don't know, just something I like about that. It's really nice.
Got a tactical rock, but he's not properly standing on it. Does he get?
No, he's not taking full advantage of his tactical rock. No. His commander will be having words with him about that.
Oh, people were suggesting this might be first call.
Ah, right, okay.
That would be logical, I think. So there you go. Sorry about that. A bit truncated on the news because usually Martin covers half of it and I cover half of it, and he's obviously not around tonight.
We did it on the fly.
So we're flying. So right, we are heading towards the end. So or second half, well and truly advanced. So let's talk about kind of how you how you look after your paints. How do you stack them? Are there systems you use to present them, or do you just shove them in a box, or what do you do with them? And if you are somebody like me, occasionally who goes somewhere and takes because I never go on holiday, but sometimes will take paints with me, having a box to transport them. What do you use? What about you, Steve? How on your desk are they displayed and laid out?
I use Vallejo MDF holders. They're sorted into colours. I know where if I put a paint back in the wrong thing, I know, and it freaks me out. I'm like, where
OCD
is it?
kicks in big style.
No, it does. So I've got all greens, blues, pinks, greys, and then lighter blues, and then there's like up there is like oranges and beiges and desert yellow. At the top, we've got metallics. We've got the more greens up there. Washes are all in the same place. Browns are all in the same place. Yeah, it's so I can quickly. I know, and I'm slightly less. So for my hobby tools, I use a pencil case.
Oh, I love that. You little bungle.
So it doesn't really fit in with the aesthetic of the desk. I've got this lovely white Vallejo model storage. I've got a pot with brushes in, and I've got a rainbow a rainbow pencil.
I love it.
But I don't. I mean, I've at time I put that picture on the Facebook page, and it sent you slightly funny because of how organized it was. I actually need to fix one of my storage things because I glued them together for ease, because I skirmish game on here as well, so this doubles up as a skirmish. So I just moved them, and the side fell off the other day, which is kind of annoying. So I need to get glue
they're the sort of wooden MDF type ones. Yeah,
they are. Yes, honestly one of the best things I've ever bought hobby wise, because they're just again really useful. They don't take up much space. They're modular as well. So I bought two. I've got one that's straight. I've got a corner piece as well. If the desk was bigger, I would buy a second corner piece to go, to make it sort of a round thing. But yeah, I've used wall mounted ones. I've used those racks that fall apart every time you sneeze. I need to have my paints organized. That for me, that's the biggest thing. Is they need to be organized. I need to know where they are, so I can just without that, I think I'd be a bit of I am Bungle.
You're about the size of Bungle, aren't you? Because he's the big one, isn't he? He's a very tall one.
He's the Bungle Bonds. He's a big bear. Except I wear clothes during the day, so that's where the similarity ends.
Where the similarity ends. Yeah. All right. It's funny, those MDF ones. I've got some here. My problem with those is anything MDF for some reason for me just never sticks properly. Yeah. So after a matter of days, the side will fall off, or again, it's my incompetent model making, not the model itself. But what I've found more and more, I tend to use. Where's the picture gone? Here we go. This sort of thing.
Yes,
you can get on Amazon. Other retailers probably as well, because they're the other thing I like about them is that they fit different size bottles. So I'm a real paint tart. I any paint. I don't have a particular kind of thing about Vallejo over Army Paint or over anything. I'll just buy whatever I look of. Some I tend to repeat buy, but generally it can be pretty much anything. And so some of those frames that you get, they're set up for a particular paint. So you suddenly get your contrast paint and it won't fit in it. So whereas these, they pretty much accommodate any size paint that I have, which I like, and they're quite cheap. Well, when you wait for the deal, because 19-20 quid is a bit expensive, but you can get a hell of a lot of paint on them.
You can. I think Ken, the eccentric man, I think he uses those for his storage. I know with mine, the majority of the gaps fit your normal dropper bottles.
Yeah.
So that's so I've got Vallejo, Army Painter, I've got MIG, But at the top, they've got the wider ones. So the very few Citadel paints that I use are all up there. Then you've got bigger ones for putting brushes in, and it's quite handy. But like James said though, it's quite limited. If you've got a lot of paint, you might need a lot of these to build to store them all essentially. I'm quite regimented and ordered about what paints I own and what paints I use.
Ooh, 3D printing a holder. Wow.
Oh, how interesting.
Into that. Corvus Games printable paint pal studio. Cool, that's tough to say. Good thing I haven't been drinking tonight. Print your own. Hey, I like that. I'll check that out.
That's a good solution, actually. Yeah,
that's a really good solution. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, those I've stuck to those. And when I'm transporting paints, I also found these. Again, it's
right.
They're not really designed for paints. These are for essential oils, apparently. So when you're out doing your massaging business. But the beauty of them, they fit the bottle. I mean, you can't get the Citadel ones in this.
Yeah.
But you can get all the others in there quite nicely. And that one holds 120 bottles, which is pretty much all you're going to need, and they do different sizes. You can do smaller ones and everything else. But what I like is they're like they hold it quite firm, quite nicely in place. So you can just zip them up and carry them around. So as I mentioned before, because I paint in the house, not in here. Often I'll be transporting paints, up and down. So actually putting them in that is great for me because I can take 120 paints out there, and then when Elaine says it's time to clear up, I can just zip it up and take them back again. And a bit like you, I have them in color sequence, so I have all the reds together and all. Then the only thing is I can't actually see very easily what they are, so you have to lift them up and have a look. But the fact that all the reds are in the same place, if you pull up one red, all the others are in a line. But I could paint on the lids, but again, we've established I'm lazy and I haven't done that. But that's kind of useful. And also I've got a much smaller one that holds, I don't know, about 30, I think, something in that order, which is one I do use if I'm going away, and I think I might get some luck to actually do some painting. And again, it's really secure. And that works for me. So that's what I use mainly. Combination of those two things.
I think having just an established desk for me, I think that's one of the biggest things I can have at the hobby is my own dedicated area. So I'm not having to. I know some people have mentioned, they have to, at the end of the day, they have to pack the stuff away and put it in a cupboard. I mean, I'm fortunate that I live by myself, got no nothing like that, so I can have like a permanent setup. So I that's one thing I'm grateful for. Oh, dearie me, lowering the tone.
Actually, Richard asked a question which I'm intrigued by. So, do you store your Vallejo upside down in order to see the colours? So I did for a while in those case things because it did help to see what the colours were. But what I found was then when I undid them, and I did turn them back the right way first before I did that, they sort of squirt. Well, not squirt, but they sort of a lot of overfill comes out the top because they've been resting that way around for so long, which I found a bit frustrating. So I've turned them all back the other way again. But yeah, I don't know. Do you do yours upside down, so to speak, Steve?
No, mine are all the face on, so I can see them.
Yeah, right. So you don't need to.
No, I can.
Interesting.
Like I said, I've trained my brain to know where each one lives.
It's like a typist, isn't it? You're just a natural. It's like you're going for the whatever thing is. There's the red. There's the.
It's and when you go and grab one, it's not there. You're like, where is it? And I can't find
it. Interesting. Yeah, I mean that's what I tend to use, and I think let's see what people have said. What's the comments gone? There we go. Yeah, lots of people use a similar kind of thing as me and you. I think most people they'll either go with the MDF approach or the sort of varnish things. I have Vallejo, AK, and MIG paints in the majority. I use I must have missed the earlier bit on that one. He uses drawers with clear faces that are divided in shades and washes, brushes in a brush storage rack, pigments and oils in another drawer. Okay, like it. I think if I was more, that's the one thing. If I had, although I've got this facility here, I don't do an awful lot of painting here, so that's the one thing I kind of would miss. I'd like to have a proper setup of paints to do that, to do something like that. I think that's how I would do it.
Yeah,
It's drawers. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Where are we now? I've lost it. Anyway, there was another comment. Sorry, whoever it was, I missed it. Oh, here we go. James said, "I've one of the Vallejo ones. It's really good. The only problem is need about 8 of them for all my paints." Yeah,
they. I mean, the ones I've got are good. They're white. Because I think you can get different ones. The ones I've got are white. Because you can get like brown ones and different coloured ones. I did find I did have to glue them together just for sturdiness. And occasionally, like you said, they do deconstruct from every now and again. But for the most part, no, they are really sturdy. And they look nice.
I don't think he wants to tell you, Steve. That's all I'm saying.
Do you know what? I am literally at the moment. I am down to one single solitary bottle of German field grey, and there's about 20% of it left.
Wow!
So if I can see any stores at the weekend that are selling Vallejo field grey, I'm going to be stocking up because I'm getting really quite low on this stuff. I mean, I remember back in the day, I'd never have more than like sort of 3 bottles of that, and 2 were always unopened. Strange times indeed.
We live in strange times in the world of Steve. Yes. Okay. Let's have a look at some of the other comments then on this, and then maybe we'll do a quick bit on display cabinets and what people use if they're showing off their figures. I mean, I'm sure most families allow them to put them on the mantelpiece and the living room and all that kind of stuff. But Bill, he's in hot and humid Florida. He uses 50+ latched lid boxes to store my Bronze Age and early medieval useful boxes. Okay, 50+. Wow.
That's a lot.
Is that 50? Is that a make? I wonder. Is that or does he have that bigger collection? He could well have that bigger collection. Jeez. Robin uses, I know this is a common one, I think Martin uses this quite a lot, really useful boxes and wall-based trays just to add up the price when you realise how many you have. Yeah, so they're kind of clever because you can buy the bigger boxes and then the trays fit inside, so it allows you to have even more figures than you would normally allow to have. I've got a few of those, but again, my incompetence with MDF kind of comes to the fore whenever I make those, because invariably at some point they'll fall apart as I'm trying to pull them out, which is really annoying. Alid, simple solution to the storage problem: go out with Phil, get drunk, wake up with an email confirmation that you've got a new 8x12 Yeah, we remember that one, Alid. It still goes down in folklore, I think, with PCP, that story. That's just absolute classic story. And the fact that you're still alive after it is
that's the biggest surprise of
them. Big Small World says, I must have 20 different storage techniques, from the older 1980s toolboxes to new systems I came up with last weekend. Officially a secret until I acquire some of the necessaries. Ooh, intriguing.
That is rather intriguing.
So that's interesting. I mean, apart from there's a subterfuge that's going on there. 20 different storage techniques.
Blank.
I don't know that I could do that. I think I would have to. What I've slowly done. So I think I showed when I was doing my video about recycling and improving some of my old 15mm figures. I used to keep those in sort of blue vegetable rack things that I picked up from the grocers or something like that. And as I've upgraded them and changed them, I've been transferring them out of that and into the really useful boxes. I just didn't. Something doesn't seem right to have a mixture like that. I don't mind putting things in boxes for terrain and stuff like that. But the figures, I kind of like them all to be stacked in their boxes. So I'm intrigued with that. 20 different techniques. I don't know. Oh no, I don't know. I don't have that sort of OCD kind of stuff, but that's making me twitch a bit. Andrew says, for storage, I use a bunch of Sterlite boxes, very similar to really useful boxes. It's just what I can get locally. All shelves in the dining room. I have a very understanding spouse. Yeah, in the dining room.
Wow.
Spells. Wow. Very good. Ed says, figures, I like to keep them in an old Asda bag. I think that might be one of your opponents you talked about a few years ago.
Oh no, I was Martin when it was the auction.
Oh yeah, Martin.
Yeah. Gee, oh my
sandwich
God.
bag.
Just
I love it. Richard, he's a bit old school. This is something that a lot of people I used to know in the early days, particularly.
Oh yes,
A4 box files, all labelled. Yeah, I think I noticed in the background of Fraser when he's doing his videos, VK, you can see some box A4 boxes there, which I think just fills me with someone like Fraser should have A4 box files for his figures. It just feels right. Everything's right with the world when that happens. Yeah, I used to have a few. I've got rid of them now. In fact, I bought some figures on eBay, some 15mm French Napoleonics, I think it was, and they sent them in an A4 box file. And I got a bit nostalgic there.
I was going to say, the nostalgia.
I did chuck them away, and not the figures, the box at the end of it. So yeah. What else? Just run through these. Adam he's a bit. There you go. Plastic vegetable trays, all set up on movement trays if movement trays are required. Yeah, that's when it works. Actually, that's when it works really well. Because again, you can interconnect them. So that was what I liked about them, because they're designed to be stacked, so they're perfect for that. The only problem I found is a lot of my figures went in the loft, and the vegetable racks are open, so all the spiders and all the dust and everything gets in. So I spent ages dusting them down afterwards when I finally brought them down into the light.
It's about what happened to Ken Stalingrad scenery, didn't they?
Yes,
it
got eaten by mice,
and then mice ate it.
I don't know what he made it out of. Maybe he went the couscous route like we used to do.
Quite possibly.
Andy, old school cardboard boxes. Yeah, good man. You can't beat it. A good solid cardboard box actually is pretty good, really. Tom says, I found bread storage boxes to be effective. 36 compartments allow me to neatly organize 6 battalions of French infantry, each with 6 companies. There you go. That is awesome. Love it. What
I love about that. I love the way the Napoleonic wargamer can look at a storage solution based on battalion size.
Do you know what that is? That's so true, Steve. That is so true. Oh, geez. In terms of display, I guess you haven't got an awful lot of room in your pad, have you, for display? But do you have anything like that you put your figures in, or is it all boxed away?
No, anything that I've got displayed is just on. I've got bookshelves in my living room. So the only things that are on there, there's that massive demon prince that I painted years ago. There's the metal Landsknecht bust that Sean sent to me.
Oh yeah,
that's on there. There's some Chasseur et Cheval on a display plinth, and a Tamaya US infantryman that I painted last year, 1/35th scale. I've actually got plans. It's funny you should say or mention display things, because I've got something planned to display some of my miniatures. I'm just working on how I'm going to do it. But it's something I've been thinking about for a while. So hopefully there'll be an update on that in the very near future.
Cool. Everyone's being really devious about storage and display. I love it. There we go. Tim, I love that. Another old school. All my 15mm figures and tanks are stored in Bisley filing cabinet. Trays come out to take them to the club. That before I did all this, that's what I was going to do. Or I was looking for ages for what do they call map tables?
Oh yeah,
because they have those big drawers that come out, and they're perfect for figures. Absolutely perfect. Now I couldn't take them out and come down the club, but I like the idea of them all being. But it turns out map desks are actually very expensive to buy. Just there you go. Display. I mean, my display stuff. So when I first moved out, well, when I first started to have a bit of space to put my figures out, the older viewers will remember I used to do it in our sort of what's now laughingly called our study, but it's actually Elaine's dumping room, which was where my office was, and that's where I used to play. And I bought a whole load of very reasonable priced glass fronted cabinets from Middle Isle in Lidl.
Oh yeah,
and you self-assembled, and they came flat packed. They weighed a ton, but and they were great. Really liked them. I had about 4 of them in the room. And when I moved in here, I thought, great, I'm going to set them all up and everything else. And then I put too many windows in here. And when you use up all the windows, there's not an awful lot of space on the wall to put things. I mean, it's great for being able to see, but not so good for storage. So
no.
I worked out I only had it's plenty of space, but I had one long wall to put stuff, and so it was a question of if I build the cabinets, if I build glass fronted cabinets all the way down, it would limit how much I could store rather than using what I do with all this. So what cabinets I've got are now at the far end there, with a few select figures in them, but I do regret that because I'd like to be able to show off more the figures I really like, but such is life. In first world problems, I'm not going to complain. I'm very happy with this room. Laser Pirate says, for displaying, I have Kallax units with glass inserts that I showed in Facebook. About 50, plus I've got 6 single shelf glass display cases in the living room. Oh, he's another man with a living room. I like it. Wow. Putting his figures in the living room. My figures are sometimes in the living room because they're waiting to be painted. And then anytime anybody important or even half important comes to our house, I get told to clear them away. So there you go. Old school cardboard boxes of verboten in my climate. They attract the vermin. Yeah, that's another problem. Somebody did ask a question, what's storing in the loft? Oh, here we go. Steve said, any thoughts on storing miniatures in the loft? Well, as I say, I stored 15 mils for quite a long time in the loft, and apart from the fact they got a bit dusty, they were absolutely fine. But I don't know whether whether resin would do very well up there, because the loft is notorious for extremes of hot and cold.
Yeah, it is.
Whether that would actually do, I don't know whether I'm sure they're cured enough, so they should be fine. But that would worry me a little bit. I don't know. Be interested to know if people have had any problems with storing in the loft. So I didn't really. It was fine. War Games History says I have 3 display cabinets, 7 foot high and 12 foot, 7 by 12, and 2 7x6s that fit around the war game room. That's cool. I like that. Red Steph says, I don't have any figures on display. I can't be asked to transfer them into transport cases every time I want to use them.
No,
you know what? That is definitely one thing.
The things I've got on display are things that I've got those 2 Napoleonic French cavalry. I mean, what are the chances of me actually painting more than 2? You know, I'm not going to. But I like the way that I painted them, so that's why I decided to put them on a plinth. But actual figures I game with, no, they're just stored away.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that's most of mine. It's my Napoleonics that are displayed in the cabinets, and it is a ball ache when I have to get them out, because I have to, get down on the floor, open up the cabinets, and sort of trying to take figures out. And the way I've sort of loaded them in, invariably, if I'm not careful, 3 or 4 battalions will fall out, and it's just horrible. So actually, it probably isn't the best thing to do anyway. But I like the fact they're looking at me.
Yeah.
So it's only for me, because nobody else is allowed in here, so it's all fine. Nick Games, my missus looking for glasses in the kitchen and finding my hidden storage of miniatures. Ouch. Yeah. Yeah, we've all done that. Yeah, interesting. I think whether you display figures or not, it's somehow nice sometimes just to have your nice couple of nice figures around the place. So I think it just reminds you of what you've done.
And plus, for non-hobby or wargaming friends, it's a bit of a "this is what I do" rather than just.
True. And I wonder also, if you're not a gamer but you're a painter, I imagine it's even more so that you want to show.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Hobbybrush says, I'm a very lucky man. 3 IKEA Deltoffs in my workshop and 5 more in the living room, mostly double shelved. Wowza. Yeah, amazing. Okay, let's crikey, we're heading towards the end. We've managed, Steve, just the 2 of us. Look at that.
I know, it's
and a flickering in and out of Martin occasionally.
As he jump between different dimensions.
I think that's what it was. It's the only solution. Reminder that we are sponsored by our friends at Boards and Swords. So please toodle along there and have a look at all the goodness they have there, and use the PCP5 code for an extra 5% off. If you could see your way clear to hitting the like button if you're enjoying the stream, that would be also be fantastic. And I'll do the Steve shrill stuff. Hit the join our, look at our channels. All the links are down in the description. Well, you're looking at mine anyway because you're on here. But if you could find your way clear to subscribing, that would be absolutely lovely. We would appreciate that. Right, let's have a look at some of the viewers' pictures. So a reminder, we've also got the Facebook page. Again, the link's in the description down below. Click on that if you're interested in joining the community to share all your fun and games, what you're up to in terms of hobbying, nothing wider than that, and what you're working on, what you're painting, games, and all sorts of good stuff that goes on in there. Just have to prove that you're not a bot or a 3D custom-made design person. Otherwise, you'll be thrown out. Steve was quite happy with some of the young ladies that wanted to join, but I wouldn't let them join. So that was the other
some of those answers are just complete bollocks.
Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to start out. So this will interest you, Steve. I'm sure you saw it already. But Duncan, this is War Games Atlantic 10mm orcs. That's what you get in the box set, I believe. Wowza.
That looks nice, and again, it just demonstrates with 10mm, you get the master look, but you get detail. The 10mm figures are, especially those the rock ones that I've been working on, and I'm really impressed with the War Games Atlantic ones as well. So you get big armies like that, but you also get something to paint. It's also that they're nice to paint. But that is cracking work on those. Really, really nice.
Talked about not only really like seeing the figures being painted, but also seeing some of the games. So look at this one.
Oof, blimey.
This is Ashley's solo game of Hail Caesar. Romans against ancient Brits.
There's a lot going on there, isn't there?
There's a lot going on there, isn't there? There was a whole sequence of pictures of the battle, and it looked like he was having terrific fun. And it was looking quite bloody. That's a fair scrum going on there. So that's that. Joseph was showing off what he's been doing with his Blood and Plunder set.
Do you know what?
Just lovely.
I like Martin. It's a game having played it, the cracking game that James put on at CrackCon, and I just loved how brutal it played. It was really, really good, and the figures are just so nice. I think one day I will relent because it'll be a shame to miss out.
It does look good, and as they say, low figure count, but nope, not going to do it. Just not going to do it. Kurt was showing off his Kings of War Goblin rock.
Oh, nice.
Which is really cool. There seemed to be an awful lot of fantasy and sci-fi stuff this
yes,
week.
it's been really the past couple of weeks. The sheer mix of stuff that people are posting it's phenomenally good.
Love that. Now you talked about armored recovery vehicles the other day, so I picked up this one. This is Lewis's Atlas ARV, which he spent a lot of time weathering and working on. Looks really good.
That's very, very, very 40k, very, very Imperial Guard.
Yeah,
that's really nice. I love the weathering on it. Absolutely brilliant.
Wow. Carl says, Blood and Plunder, not such a low figure count. I've over 500 figures. I think that's, I don't think it's anything to do with the game, Carl. I think that's just, you can't stop buying them. I think that's probably the problem. I can't imagine you need 500 in a game. But there you go. I have no idea, Steve. Is that a Foundry Marauder mini?
I don't know.
No idea, I'm afraid. No idea. Sorry, somebody might know. Nick, he was. No, I'm not sure what scale these are. So these are Franks masquerading as Romans. They look pretty small scale, but he didn't say in his post what actual scale they are. But they are very nice. So he said these are Franks masquerading as Romans. They've all picked up Roman shields and are coming to play. They look very nice, though. They must be 10 mil. I want to say 10 mil.
I don't know. They look, but the thing is that they look really, really detailed.
Yeah, they do. Unless it's just taking it from a very long way away.
I'm just doing the Father Ted thing now.
Now we don't often get this on the Facebook page, or even in the community. So I was really pleased to see Matt putting up his aircraft.
Oh, lovely!
This is a P-38J. Apparently, he had a series of pictures of this and also of a fighter, and I put this on in case Mr. Hicks was here because I know he likes himself and he likes making models of planes. But it's weird. You don't get an awful lot of naval, but you get even less aircraft stuff. So, but very well done. Like I do like the shine on that.
Really nice. The metallic finish is really nice with the weather. Yeah, really nice, lovely.
Nice. Good stuff. Thank you, Matt. Now, Sean, this is one of his 3D printed buildings. I think he said this was from Black Scorpion.
Oh, nice.
I'm guessing that's a filament print rather than a resin, because that'd be a heck of a lot of resin to do that. Very nice.
Some cracking painting and weathering on that as well. Looks superb.
Yeah, love them. The floorboards, brilliantly done, aren't they? Really nicely done. Silas, this was a game. Again, this is a scene from one of the many pictures he put up of a game he was playing of Northog. Is that it? Northog? It's a modern, well, sort of nearly modern. It was a Warsaw Pact against NATO, I believe, battle we were putting on. But lots of pictures of various tanks exploding on it, and look really, really good game. Just love. I quite like this one where the guys have obviously just jumped out the back of their APC and are just about to sort of have at it somehow. Tony was showing off his 7 years war French forces that he's been working on.
Oh, lovely
stuff there. Jeez, wowza. And then finally for now, another game. This was Steve playing his rapid fire game, and it looked like it was a heck of a battle going on. America, is it British or Americans? I think they're Americans, aren't they?
They are. We've got universal carriers there, so I think they're British.
Must be British because of that, yeah. They would seem to be trying to wheedle out some Germans out of some fairly defensive positions. So it looked like a good game. So there you go. So a reminder, we can't show every picture, but if you're a member of the Facebook page, go along, have a look, because there's some awesome pictures.
There is.
And awesome interaction on stuff. So there we go. We are at the end. We have made it, Steve.
We did. We got through.
Down. Blimey, look at that. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Apologies for the Martin-esque problems. Clearly his internet was not playing up tonight. It was not playing well tonight.
In other news, we're on Martin's channel next week.
I know. That's the only scary thing. So yeah, I'm not around next week again, but I'm not on holiday this time. Some friends of ours are for some reason decided to reconfirm their marriage or something, so we got to go and do that. So
Lovely
so
stuff.
why are you on a Monday, and why do you need to reconfirm? I don't know, whatever. So I won't be on, but we'll be on Martin's channel. Did he have a subject? Can you remember? No, I can't remember. Follow the Facebook page, and look, if you notify when he posts anything, you'll see when he puts it up and what the subject is. Also, I think Ken may well be back next week. So
he might be, yeah.
I'm subbing him with him. So thank you everyone for watching. Really appreciate it. Have a good week, and stay safe and stay well, and enjoy your hobbying. See you later.
See you, everybody.